Hey guys, Jake here from Inside Sim Racing, and today we're going to be doing a review slash opinionated video about some old pedals. And you're thinking, aren't you a little late to the punch? Maybe like 4 years too late to the punch? Yes, but on this channel we're playing a lot of catch up, and there's a lot of stuff that we want to talk about and review and show you guys. So here we have the VRS DirectForce Pro pedals. Now today we only have the 2 pedal set. And we don't have a clutch, but we'll still talk about everything that involves the clutch as well, on top of just the 2 pedal set. These pedals were sent to us by VRS, so we just want to say thank you to VRS. And we are also working with VRS, and we now sell these on our site. So if you want to check us out, our main sponsor is SimMotion. We sell these on our site, and they are available to buy. So without further ado, why don't we just go ahead and sit down and get into these pedals. One thing I did just want to say quickly before we get into this video is that these VRS DirectForce Pro pedals have a crazy amount of mechanical adjustment on the actual pedals themselves. And we're not going to get into that into this video today, but I did want to leave you to the link and the information by David Williams at VRS. On their YouTube page, he has about an 18-minute video discussing just all the ins and outs and every last little detail about these pedals. So feel free to check that out. That being said, let's get into it. All right, so getting into this, I figured what better way to show off these pedals than do some Assetto Corsa Rally. You know, this game just came out, and I have been so pleased just with the development of this game. And you know, there's not much cars and there's not many stages, but with time and development, I think this game could very easily debunk or you know, knock Richard Burns down off its throne, and that's coming from somebody that absolutely loves and adores Richard Burns Rally. So, but enough about that. Let's get into these pedals. I gotta say right out the gate, I have never seen in my life pedals with just the sheer amount of mechanical adjustment that these pedals have. It's actually pretty crazy, you know. There's not a lot of adjustment to be had in the actual software itself, but it makes all of it up and more in the actual mechanical adjustment of the pedals. I think in the software you can do, like, you know, a little bit of dead zone, max force adjustment, and, you know, calibration. Before we continue with the video, I did want to just quickly interject and say I did a little more research on the software for the VRS config, and they actually do have max force adjustment and things like progressive curves for, you know, like the throttle, the clutch, and all these other things. You can see you have like the throttle here, brake, and you know, you can calibrate, debug, update all your firmware and everything from here. And I just want to let you guys know that you do have this on top of also the mechanical adjustments, so it's even more than I thought. Let's get back to the video. And you know, it comes with 2 different springs, and they both have different you know, stiffnesses and for changes the travel of the actual spring itself in the brake, which is pretty neat. And you know, you can change the stiffness and the throw of the throttle without any you know, added items. You know, you just adjust the pedals, which is super sick. You know, I use Husingveld Sprints at home, and you know, those things are great, and I love the adjustability on those, especially in the software. But the mechanical adjustment of these is really enticing, and just how much you can actually do. Especially if you watch that video by David, he goes into everything about it. The idea of having basically a no-wear item and everything being all mechanical, no elastomers, is really cool, because I mean, nobody hates anything more than inconsistent braking. So see if I can not mess up this hairpin. There we go. A little sloppy in the steering, but I will say talking and driving on this game is absolutely incredibly difficult. So bear with me as I tumble my way through the stage. I believe these pedals have upward max force up to about 140 kilograms, which I can pump out like 110, 120, but I really don't think anybody needs to be pushing that hard on a pedal, and it's also just not sustainable. So the force that's there is plenty enough, and just the consistency of these pedals as I go through this stage is just second to none. It's a bit soulless in ways, just because no elastomer, but just the consistency of the pedal is insane, and the overall feeling of them while being soulless is still absolutely amazing. If I were to give up my Husingfeld Sprints, I would probably give them up for these pedals. As a Husingfeld activist, I think that says a lot. As I try not to bend the car on the stage. Now, the only downside to these pedals is they don't actually come with a base plate, and VRS doesn't actually sell one either. It's like, what? You have these super amazing pedals, but you don't have a base plate, which kind of sucks, but, if you're resourceful, you can find base plates that actually work for these pedals, because they have a great design for actually just general mounting, so it's always a bonus. They have the mounting on these pedals works on, speaking of them, it works on the Husingfeld Sprint base plate. So I try not to spin out there. Works on the Husingfeld Sprint base plate and also the V&M base plate. Today we have it on the V&M, and it was super easy to install. So if you're ever looking for an option to actually mount these pedals, we got that option for you, and we can get you hooked up. So see if I can finish this stage without absolutely wrecking myself. I'll get back to you. And there we go. That was a finished stage, a slow stage, but a finished stage, a non-wrecked car stage. Well, that's going to wrap it up on the VRS pedals. I have had a great time actually testing these pedals and using them on a Assetto Corsa rally. I think these are a great pedal, and as I said in the video, the amount of mechanical adjustments on the actual pedals is just immense. If I was forced to hand over my Husingfeld Sprints for another pedal set, I would definitely choose these bad boys in a heartbeat. The only issue is no base plate with the VRS pedals, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't really think it matters because there are options that are sold out there that negate the issue. So at the end of the day, I don't think it's that big of a deal. These pedals, if you're coming from like a lower end pedal and looking to make that huge jump up to a bigger pedal, great choice. Even if you're in mid range, or if you're just looking for a very specific feeling, I think no matter what you do, these pedals are a great purchase. And I definitely don't think you'd, what's the word I'm looking for? Regret buying them. So, I think these things would make a great gift for anybody out there that's watching as a Christmas gift this coming time.
Today, Junior!
Can I speak English? This holiday season. There we go. So, I think that's going to wrap it up for me on these pedals. These definitely get the Jake stamp of approval. And, if I had to give them a rating, I would probably give them about a 9 out of 10. I think this is an excellent pedal. So, that being said, that is going to wrap it up for me for Jake at Inside Sim Racing. And I'll catch you around in the next video. Ciao.